Hello and welcome to Back at Camp, Mojave County's only outdoor television show. I'm your host, Don Martin. On today's show, I have with me a young man from Kingman who's been hunting all his life in the Kingman area. He's going to tell us about some hunting experiences that he and his family have had in the last couple of months. So don't go away. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Welcome back to Back at Camp. I'm your host, Don Martin. On today's show, I have with me Matt Timmerman. Matt, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, Matt, you've lived your whole life here in Kingman.
Yes, sir.
And how old are you?
17.
Okay. And you've been hunting with your dad since you've been big enough to go with him, right?
Yeah, I was sat in a car seat hunting with him.
There you go. So tell me about your hunting experiences. I mean, you started hunting with him when you were really young, and as you got older, you started taking up different kinds of hunting. You're a bow hunter now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How long you been bow hunting?
I shot my first pig when I was 8.
8 years old.
I've been hunting with my bow since I was 8.
Okay, now tell me about your equipment. You got a nice setup here. Hold that thing up and let's show people what kind of bow you actually use.
Yeah, I use a Bowtech Destroyer 340. It's kind of an older bow, but it does me good. And then I use a Montana black gold sight. It's a 5-pin, but it rolls down so I can shoot up to any distance I want. My farthest shot on just messing around with some friends, I shot a rabbit at 72 yards.
Wow.
Because it was me and Clayton Holloway.
Yeah.
So we were out shooting. And then I use a ripcord rest, but I'm getting ready to switch things up here pretty soon, so probably be shooting an obsession soon.
Now,
so.
the big thing about bow hunting is speed. Everything's about speed. How fast does this shoot an arrow?
Right now I'm shooting 322.
322. That's pretty darn fast.
Yeah.
Anything over 300 feet per second is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Okay, so now in 2015, you and your sister drew muzzleloader deer tags over in the 15s.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what's your sister's name?
Caitlin.
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 14.
Okay, now this was going to be Caitlin's first ever deer hunt, right?
Yes.
And kind of walk us through what happened on that hunt.
Well, opening morning we got out to an area where I knew where some deer were, and we spotted this buck up, and he was a 3x2, and he had a broken front leg, so we were going to try to get up on him, and
sure.
We were going to go after him, but then this deer got up and just started running, and it wouldn't stop.
Wow.
So we gave up on him, and then we went to another area, and we didn't see anything there. So it was late afternoon, almost dark, and we wanted to get her something on the first day, and she wanted to get something on the first day. She just wanted to get her first deer. She's never hunted before.
Okay.
And so me and a buddy split off, and then he spotted this deer up, and then we drove over there, and my sister, my dad, and one of our good friends, Mike Rigger, they went up after this deer, and she shot him at 175 yards.
And now we have a firearm here, muzzleloader.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you hold that up and tell me a little bit about that? This is the one that you and your family use all the time, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This is made by Traditions. It's a Vortex. So we've been using this for like 3 years now. I've killed 4 deer off of this with this.
Okay.
So I've killed 4 deer with this, and it hasn't done us wrong yet.
50 caliber, I see.
Yep.
Right. Do you remember what kind of load you used for this thing?
I think we used 150 grain load off of it.
Okay. All right. So you use a 50 caliber muzzleloader. She's using that too, and she gets her first deer with this at how far?
175 yards.
That's a great shot with anything, but especially with the muzzleloader. Fantastic. Yeah. So that's what you guys use. Your whole family uses that. You've taken multiple deer with that. So she gets a deer on opening day.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you still got a tag. So what are you gonna do?
So Saturday we went out. We didn't see anything. I couldn't get a shot off on anything. So that's how that went. Sunday we went out. We went out that morning, and I was with my friend Clay Benson, and we spotted a good looking basket, about 4-point, and then another 3x3, but he was smaller. So we put a stock on them, and we had my dad guiding us in. We had some misdirection, and we couldn't see them. It was thick. so that didn't work out. And then we were driving back. I shot a badger with this.
Really?
Yeah, he was like 75 yards, and he was running, and my dad's like, shoot him. I shot him, and he rolled. So that was the end of our day. And then Monday, I went out after school. I just saw a bunch of deer. We didn't get any shot off. This was coming up to Thanksgiving, so Tuesday I didn't go out, but Wednesday my dad and I, we were going to go out after school. We went out, and we were coming down this mountain, and we looked to our right, and there's a big old bachelor herd, and I hop out of the truck and I load it up, and he's standing at 100 yards, and I shot him off in.
Okay, now this is a buck. This is the buck, folks, that you're seeing right now. This is a really nice 3x3 buck, especially for a desert buck. It's probably bigger than the average buck that people take here in around Kingman. And you shot him at 100 yards. Now, how far did he go after you shot him?
He ran about 10 yards and rolled.
Oh, so he didn't go far at all. And when you're out there hunting, you hunt with a whole bunch of different people. You're part of a group now. It's called Desert Extreme. Give me a little information about that group. Who are they? What do you do? I mean,
well, when I was younger with some friends, we all wanted to start our own guiding business someday, and that's what this is actually. It was me, Tanner Reagan, and Justin Sturgill at first, and I was like, oh, we can name it Desert Extreme, and we can do our own stuff. And we used to take footage of us shooting 3D targets, like messing around.
Right.
And then that ended because, I mean, we just couldn't figure anything out. And then this year, Clay and I was like, we should start something. So Clay and I started this, and I do all the designing. Well, I tell the guy what to do. BJ Matistic, he's the Kingman fan gear guy.
Okay.
So he makes all of our stuff. He makes all of our hats, shirts. We're getting some jackets made soon. So he does all that for us.
And this is just a group of hunting enthusiasts here in the Kingman area, young guys. Who all's in this hunting extreme thing right now?
Well, we give our stuff out to anybody who wants it, because I mean, I'm not gonna be biased on people. Like if they want a hat or a shirt, I'll give them a hat or a shirt. But right now, like some of the main guys that are part of this is Tanner Reagan, Clayton Holloway, Clay Benson, Justin Sturgill, and me. Okay,
so that's the core group, and of course you guys are all archers, and you hunt javelina, you hunt deer. When you get elk tags, I know we did a show on Tanner, and he got a real nice elk last year. So you know, you guys are doing all this hunting, and you're hunting all over Arizona, but primarily you're hunting here in Mojave County.
Yeah.
And you guys are kind of like self-taught. I mean, you do spend a lot of time with your family, with your dads, and they're mentoring you. But a lot of this stuff, you guys are actually doing it. You're going out there and you're finding the animals, and you're actually going to do the hunts.
Yes.
Now, I notice here you got a backpack. This is your backpack. I see you got a tripod on there. And tell the people, how do you find most of your animals?
Well, we go out early in the morning, and we go before light hits. And so I usually get out, I set my tripod up, and I use Vortex equipment. That's what I've always used. Binoculars, rangefinder, 15s. So we put the 15s on, and right when it gets light out, I start looking, and that's when the deer start to move. We look on the sunny sides, and if we find deer, we find deer, and if we don't, we move to another area.
Okay, so you've had a lot of luck in finding deer and stuff around here in this Kingman area.
Yeah.
Okay, and you guys now, when you're out there hunting, what advice would you give to bow hunters or new hunters? How you find deer, how you find javelina? What's your secret to it?
Well, with javelina, with any animal, it's kind of, you have to be in the right place at the right time. You know, your eyes have to be you always have to be looking. You can't just look at an area real quick and go. No, I mean, their eyes aren't that good. You know what I mean? But with pigs, they call them ghosts of the desert. That's what a lot of people call them.
You bet.
And they are hard to see. It's just that's also just the luck of where you are at the time.
So do you from your past experience, Do you find that javelina tend to stay in the same areas?
Yeah, the place we always go, there's always pigs in it. Javelina, they're always there. They don't move very far, and when they do move, they only move about a mile.
Yeah. The rule on javelina is they'll live and die in about a mile to a mile and a half square, 1 to 1.5 miles square. So if you can find javelina and you know where they are, you can actually figure out the herd boundaries, and then you can go out and find them almost any time.
Yeah, just about any time.
Yeah. So, but that's something that, you know, folks, if you're wanting to hunt pigs and be successful, you need to go out there and you need to spend time in the field. And when you find javelina, you want to look for geographical boundaries that delineate what a herd area is. Usually that means a wash or a ridge, and the pigs will go over this far, but they generally don't go outside of their defined herd area. So that's kind of important, and that's what he's telling you, is they know where these herd areas are. They go in there, they look in these areas, and you're successful in finding pigs.
Yeah.
And like you say, they don't call them gray ghosts of the desert for nothing, because a lot of times you'll be sitting there glassing, and all of a sudden you'll see these what look like boulders on the side of a hill. And all of a sudden they start moving.
And they just move.
They just move, and you go, holy mackerel, that's pigs.
The thing is you look at it you look at it and you're like, oh, it's just a rock, and then that rock's gone. So then you know it's a pig.
Yeah. And one thing about pig hunting is probably the most important thing is you got to keep the wind.
Yeah.
They got great senses of smell.
They can't see though.
They can't see
They're
well.
very blind.
But they sure can smell, and they got really good hearing. So, you know, that's kind of the key. You got to be able, especially with a bow.
Yeah.
We're talking, you got to get up close and personal, and if you don't have that wind doped right, and you're not moving real slow, they're going to hear you, and they're going to blow out.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about some of your hunting experiences here. We're going to take a quick break, but you know, keep in mind we want to talk about your techniques and how you do this. Okay. Folks, hope you're enjoying this show. It's really exciting. These young guys are really getting this dialed in. So we're going to take a quick break, be right back. We'll talk more about hunting in Mojave County.
Well, the biggest herd we saw was on the second day, and it was a herd of 30 pigs.
30 pigs?
About 30 pigs, and they were running.
Welcome back to Back at Camp. I'm your host, Don Martin. With me today is Matt Timmerman. Now, Matt is one of the young guns here in Kingman, and we've been talking about hunting in various places and hunting various species. We talked about him and his sister, Caitlin. They had a muzzleloader deer hunt in the 15s last year, and they both got bucks. She got her first buck, and Matt got like a 24-inch 3x3, big buck. They also hunt javelina with the bows. He's part of this desert extreme thing, and they're hunting a lot too. So we were talking about hunting javelina and how they are successful in finding them by knowing that, hey, they live and die in about a mile and a half. Now, we talked about that the pigs do have bad eyesight, but they got great sense of smell.
Yeah.
And their hearing is really good too. So how do you figure out when you're going to make your stock, what do you do to figure out how to get in there so they're not seeing you?
Well, first you got to check the wind. That's one of the main things. I mean, if they can smell, and if all your scent's going right towards them, they're not going to stick around. They're gonna boogie out.
What do you use to check the wind?
Well, you can pretty much use anything light. Like I know some people who have like the powder and they shoot it up in the air and it goes the way the wind's going. I know some guys who just find some grass on the side of the road and they use the grass, and whatever way that goes, that's where the wind's going.
So that's the way. That's the way, though. You're going to check that wind before you decide how you're going to make your stock.
Yeah.
Especially when you're using a bow and you got to get relatively close. Yeah. Okay. Now, what other techniques? How do you, like if you're some of these places out in 18A, those are just juniper jungles out there. It's pretty hard to see in there. What kind of things do you do to help you increase your being able to glass them up?
You want to get high. You want to get up on top of those like big peaks, and you want to look down on them, because that's the easiest way. That's the easiest way I've known to do it.
Sure.
I mean, some people would do other things, but that's the easiest way I do it.
Okay. And changing angles.
Yeah.
You know, we talked off camera about changing some angles, that even if you're looking at the same spot, if one guy's 30 feet away, looking at at a different angle, sometimes they'll see stuff that the other guy didn't even see.
Yeah, I mean, your angle is a big thing too, because the sun could be hitting it a different way, and you could not see it in one spot, and then you go to the next spot and look at the same place, and you'll see something.
Okay. Now, do you ever just say, okay, I know there's usually pigs in this basin. You glassed it, you didn't see them. Do you ever just kind of go up there and just go look?
Yeah, just go walk around, and most of the time you see pigs.
So even though you couldn't see them glassing, if you know where they are, you go ahead and make a stalk up there, work real slow, and you'll pick them up.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, for deer, a little different deal because they got great eyesight.
Yeah.
So what do you do? What do you do when you see a deer off half-mile away, he's feeding up there? How are you guys going to plan that stalk?
Well, deer's a little different. Like you said, their eyesight's tremendous, and they can smell.
And they can hear awesome.
And they can hear really good. But the thing that we do is if we see a deer about a half-mile away, like you said, feeding up this mountain, we got to check the wind again. And we kind of look at the terrain, and if you know that you can get up from underneath them, then you try that. But if you know that he's going to feed up and over, then the wind will stay good. Hopefully it doesn't swirl on you. Like if he's feeding up the mountain, probably go around the mountain and just come out on top.
So you look at him and say, well, he's feeding up through this basin, so you sneak around, get around, and you just let him walk up to you.
Yep.
And
that's happened to us before. I think it was like my third deer. He came up to us, and I noticed that he was walking up the mountain, so we came around and shot him.
Just got up there and waited, and he just comes feeding
Yep.
by. Yep, it's good technique. Now, in January, it was archery deer, archery javelina season, and you guys went out. What did you guys do?
So the first day we went out, we saw pigs, and I don't remember where we were, but we're in this area, and we got up on them. It was super thick, so my dad shot, and it hit a branch, and it ricocheted down. So
you were hunting with your dad on opening day?
I was hunting with my dad and my mom.
Okay. She hunt too?
Yes, she does.
Oh, wow.
She shoots a Heartbreaker, a Bowtech Heartbreaker.
Okay.
And my dad shoots an Obsession. So, but we went out, and
So your whole family hunts?
Yeah, we all hunt. Now,
go.
at first, I have a little brother and a little sister, and my little sister always talks about how she wants to go hunt, but
Oh,
she's
wow.
only like 3 years old, 4 years old.
Okay.
But, so we go out, my dad hit a branch, and it ricocheted down, and, so we kept on going out, and then we never really seen any pigs, and if we did, they were running. So that's how that went, and then me and my dad both got pigs. And
How long did it take you guys to get pigs? You give them on opening day, or
no, we hunted really hard for these pigs, and then finally my dad had to watch my little siblings, and I went out with my friend Tanner Reagan and Bill McCord, and we went out, and we were driving down this road, and I look up to my left, and there's pigs, and me and Tanner put a stalk on them and shot them.
So you and Tanner both got pigs out of that group?
No,
Nice shot.
Tanner shot his pig and his
Nice
deer
shot.
like a couple days before.
Oh, okay. So you guys went up there, you and Tanner went up, and you actually got your pig.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you called your dad and said, hey, we got pigs out here?
Yeah, I called. Well, then we just kept on going because then we were looking for deer. I mean, I already got my pig. Tanner already got his pig and deer, so now we were just looking for deer for me. And we go to another area, and I spot this pig, and I call my dad up. I was trying to find signal, so I had to go up on top of this mountain, and I call my dad up, and he comes out there, and he shoots, and he missed. But
Happens with everything, right?
You don't know if you're going to hit him or not.
Right.
So he missed, and then we went and found another herd, and then we put a stalk on them, and then he ended up shooting a pig.
Okay. Now, this year has been kind of a up and down year for pig numbers. What are you seeing as far as average number of pigs in a herd?
Well, the biggest herd we saw was on the second day, and it was a herd of 30 pigs.
30 pigs.
About 30 pigs, and they were
Wow.
running up along this ridge in 18A. But other than that, probably about the one that I shot mine out of was probably about 20.
About 20 pigs in
About
it?
20 pigs.
Well, those are good size herds. Do you guys ever avail yourself to the second tag option that Arizona has?
The one that you can have a tag in like 18A and all those areas, and then you can have an 18B tag.
Right.
No, I've never bought the second tag.
So you don't get the second tag?
No, I've never got it. I mean, I've thought about it, but I've never got it.
I know some of the guys. There's a lot. Well, in Kingman, there's a lot of guys that will get like an archery tag for, 18A, that unit, that block of units, and then they'll get a ham tag or a rifle tag.
Shoot it with their bow.
Yeah, but they go after them with a bow.
Yeah.
They don't use any firearms, just using bows. So it gets you more time in the field. The downside to that is from our experience anyway, is that the guys who pick up a second tag are really dialed in on herds, so they do get pigs. And I can tell you over in 18B, we've seen pig numbers kind of diminish a little bit, and I personally think it's due to the two tag thing, because guys will go over there and kill one in archery, and then they come back and on the rifle hunt, still using a bow, and they'll get a second pig. But Game and Fish this year said that every tag in 18B, whether it was archery, ham, youth, or rifle, was sold out. So it's a pretty popular unit. What is your, everybody has a favorite unit. 18B is mine. So what is your favorite unit?
I really like the 15s. Like, those are my favorite. Like the 15A, 15B, and all those areas. I like those areas. I've hunted an 18B before for deer, and it was all right. I saw some mature bucks, but I was using the muzzleloader, and we couldn't get close enough. It was my fault. I was younger, and I was too loud. That's the reason why we didn't get close enough. But 15s. Well,
hunting's hunting. I mean, it's all about the experience, and obviously you're learning. And this whole thing with being out in the field and being here in Kingman, we're fortunate because you talk about you go out and go hunting before school, then you turn around, and then sometimes after school you get to go out and you get to spend time, and you can hunt areas around here, and in 15 minutes you're where there's deer and pigs.
Deer and pig country.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: how much do you practice with your bow?
I shoot just about every day.
Okay.
Like, there's some days I'm busy. I mean, I work, but just about every day I shoot my bow.
Okay.
I mean, whether it's 20 yards or I'm out in long range.
And do you shoot year round, or you just shoot fall and winter?
No, I think you should shoot year round. If you're going to be an archery hunter, or if you're going to hunt with a rifle, you should shoot a lot.
You should practice all the time.
All the time. Like, you don't just draw a tag and go, oh man, I probably should start shooting now, and then wait 2 weeks before your hunt comes and start shooting.
And unfortunately we see situations where somebody decides they're going to go bow hunting, so they go to Walmart, buy a bow, buy some arrows, and then they head right to the field, and they don't even have no idea how to do this.
No, that's not right. I mean, shoot all year long.
Okay. Now, you've been hunting, your entire life. What are your plans down the road? Where do you think you're going to go with this?
Well, you see here, I don't really know.
You're just enjoying the ride now.
Right now I'm 17 years old, and I'm just living the life. I have a good family, and that helps me out a lot. I hunt all the time, and it's just a big family thing, and right now it's nice.
Well, that's important. I mean, we said all along, hunting is a family thing. It's not just about going out and shooting something. It's the time that you spend together. And you've mentioned here during this show about some people that have been really important to you, Mikey Rieger, your dad, being out there with you. And, your friends, Tanner and Clayton and all those guys. I mean, you guys have developed into be some pretty awesome go-get-em guys. And, it's kind of like, okay, we know what we need to do. You figured out that the glassing is the way to do it. You got great equipment, and it's paying off for you. So what are you hoping to do like this year? You've taken deer now, you've taken javelina. You ever kill an elk?
I have killed an elk, yes, with a rifle.
With a rifle?
But this year I put in for all archery.
All archery.
For bull elk.
For the challenge?
Yeah, just for the challenge. A friend last year got a Unit 9 tag, and Clay Benson, and he went and shot a nice bull. So this year I put in for all archery, and then hoping I get an antelope tag.
There you go. Cool. All right. Well, look, that's all the time we got for Matt.
Right.
I so appreciate you coming down. Hey, folks, you got to see one of the other Kingman young guns, and these guys are dialed in. They know what they're doing. They're successful. They have a great time out there. They go with each other, they help each other. So that's what you should do. Find somebody that you like to hunt with and go out there and spend time with them. So until next week, this is your host, Don Martin, saying keep your fishing line fresh, keep your firearms oiled, your bowstrings waxed, and we'll see you next week back at camp.